Hey everyone, I am free. It's March 8th, 2023. I'm in Portland, Oregon, Multnomah County. We're going to go check out the Portland City Parks and Rec and see if they respect our rights to record and photo in public. I'll see you guys there.
So we have a policy you can't film inside the building without getting permission. Have you talked to facilities or the city manager today?
Well, that's really awkward then, because the Ninth Circuit already ruled on that.
Well, you're not allowed to film in the building without permission.
Oh, so you guys disagree with the judge's rules from the Ninth
I'm
Circuit?
not saying I disagree with the judge's rules. I'm telling you what the building's policy is. I'm just informing you of the building policy.
Okay. Well, I mean, you told me it looks like you don't want to talk to me, so I'll just keep filming. Thanks. Unless you want to have a polite conversation.
I'm having a polite conversation with you. I'm not. Am I raising my
conversation is back and forth.
I stopped. I paused. I was going to let you say what you had to say. I'm here to listen to you, sir. I'm not trying to fight with you.
Whoa, I didn't say fight.
No, I mean, I should say debate.
Yeah, okay. Debate, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, poor choice of words there. I'm not trying to engage with you in any negative energy or anything like that kind of sort.
Yeah, I respect debate.
I am just informing you of what I was informed about about the building policy.
Who informed you?
Building staff, the people who work here,
the city.
The city personnel.
The city's policy is you can come in and you can film the artwork.
You have to
film the building.
You can't walk around the entire building filming. So because there's meetings going on with offices and they could be discussing sensitive information to the public and things of that nature, you can't just film the entire building. Now, if you wanted to film something specifically, like for example, like the artwork over here or the artwork over there, that's totally okay. But in terms of like filming throughout the premises, you have to check in, and then they will most likely authorize it. They just have to know so that they can tell everyone and send out like a city email, things of that nature, so that it can be communicated. There are people just filming everywhere in the building. But there could be all kinds of like private sensitive information being filmed or being done right now with these doors, in here, and you're recording, and that could be an issue. So that's why the building has this policy. I'm just informing you of that. So I'm just telling you, we're asking you to not record while everything while you're walking around. If there's something specific you want to record, we can figure that out. That's it.
All right, now that I've listened to you all the way. So while I completely respect what you're saying, in terms of, I hear your argument, the policy of a municipality cannot overrule the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. That's the court that's right below the Supreme Court and controls the whole West United States.
Yep.
They said in Fordyce versus City of Seattle, and also here in Oregon, the appellate court ruled in Oregon versus Neffel in 1989.
Right.
I can come into a place like this as a journalist and gather content in publicly available places without restriction.
Okay, so that would apply at City Hall. This is the Portland building.
All city, county, state buildings. All of them.
Okay, so not every city, county, or state building have the exact same policy. That I can just inform you of right now.
What I'm saying is the Oregon State Appellate Court
I understand what you're saying.
Directed all state, county, and city government agencies, entities, and organizations to abide by that in 1989. In addition to that, the federal Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals said, not only is that right, but we're going to really reinforce this in Fordyce versus City of Seattle. All public officials in the courses of their duty, all of them, 100%, can be recorded and photographed in the course of their duties.
Okay.
I don't know how the policy can overrule that.
You're referring to public officials, and I'm making sure.
No, not officials. All employees.
All employees. So what I'm trying to explain to you is
and
the employees here, they are dealing with sensitive documents, the people's private information, and you're walking around and you're recording things, right? Mm-hmm. These people's personal information is protected. You cannot record while that information is out. That's why you can't record throughout the building. That's why I asked you specifically, because on your video would have people's private information on it, right? And that would be if you were to exercise your video in terms of distributing it somewhere, because you're telling me that you're using it to perform the act of journalism,
Yep.
which in no way do I want to stop you from performing journalism.
Yeah, that'd be prior restraint. That
No,
would be
no,
good.
that's not what we're trying. We're not trying to do anything like that.
I get that.
Okay, but you cannot put people's possibly secure private information out while they're being serviced. That's what I'm trying to explain to you.
And I hear your argument, but here the rebuttal is this. Just like HIPAA case laws that have been ruled on by the Supreme Court of the United States and circuit district courts as well as appellate courts, they've said it is the onus of that duty to protect privacy is on the part of the city. Now, if the city wants to say, hold on. If the city wants to say that the entire facility is a non-public forum,
Yes.
you close the entire building, nothing can be filmed at any time, and you vet everyone coming in so that it's content neutral and viewpoint neutral. This isn't expressive speech, it's content-based speech and viewpoint-based speech.
Right.
Because of the cameras that you have throughout here and the fact that those can be public records requested,
Yes.
if you prevent me from doing that as a journalist, it's a content speech violation. That's an enormous, I'm talking Mons Olympus lawsuit. That's prior restraint, you don't want to do it.
Okay.
So here's what I'd recommend. Before you guys go and do this any further, I would really, really recommend you call the city attorney and really make sure you want to go down this road first. Because if you do, and my rights are violated, the city's just going to pay off my mortgage. That's all that's going to happen.
I'm
My
not
house will be
here. I'm not
clear
here
free.
violating your rights. I'm telling you that because they have sensitive people's
The onus
information.
is on you guys to do it. So you can change this to a non-public forum.
I'm telling you, the city is telling you because they're sending me to come talk to you.
The entry point is not making it a non-public forum.
I'm not
You just
saying it's.
told-
No one is saying to you it's not a
Hold
non-public
on.
forum.
You just told me I could view the art. In
Yes.
a 1948 case called McDonald v. U.S.,
Yes.
the eyes cannot be trespassed, neither can this. So if I can view the art, everything that gets panned...
No one said you can't film the art.
No,
what
hold
we
on.
said is you can't film the entire building, walk around filming the entire building.
That's content.
That's what I told you. I did
That's
not
a
tell you.
content speech violation.
Hold on. I did not tell you, and I specifically said the reason you can't walk around filming the entire building is because we have sensitive meetings and we have sensitive information out. And when people come here and they want to film the entire building, they contact us. We have a policy where they contact us. Then it's almost always authorized. I'm not saying we're not trying to prevent it, but we just make sure we don't have sensitive information out at the time. I'm just informing you that there was sensitive information out over at the front desk.
Yeah.
And so when you're recording the entire building and you go near the front desk, because of people's privacy, right? That is the only thing that I'm speaking of. If you want to go
move this
over
up to the next level. The
if you-
best bet is
I'm almost finished.
Just call the police.
I'm not
because
calling-
I'm not going to follow this. You're putting prior
I'm
restraint
asking-
on my speech as a journalist. I'm telling you, I've explained everything clearly. The city does not have jurisdiction and it doesn't have authority to overrule the Oregon State Appellate Court as well as the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals.
You can ask for the permission right now.
I'm
and
not
they
asking for permission. My permission is already granted.
So you feel that you can videotape people's sensitive information? Is that what you're
That's
telling
not
me?
what I'm aiming to do.
I'm asking you.
No, that's not what I'm aiming to do. You're creating a straw man argument.
I'm not
that
creating a
the
straw man. I'm just
potentiality
asking you, is
that
that what
could
it-
occur.
that was the reason I
The
came
onus
over.
of responsibility to protect those documents is on you. If it's the plain view doctrine. If it is in plain view, it is publicly accessible. There is no expectation of privacy in public. The plain view doctrine has been ruled on at the Supreme Court of the United States a dozen times. So if you want to do that, the best bet here is I'm disagreeing with you. I'm not going to honor your request.
Okay.
If you want to call police and have them come
Okay.
over, I'll have a discussion with them. I'm not going to honor the request. I've made it clear. I've cited all the case law.
Okay.
I've cited all the statutes.
all right.
I'm saying you're incorrect politely.
Okay.
I disagree with you. If you want to have the enforcement mechanism of the executive branch show up and potentially trespass me,
Okay.
creating prior restraint on my First
I'm not.
Amendment rights.
No one is attempting to trespass you. I've never said
but
anything.
when you call the police, they will.
I have not said anything about kicking you out or trespassing you or removing you from the property. I want to make that clear. That I've said nothing about that.
Okay, so then you're okay with me just continuing to walk around?
What I said to you was, and what I'm still trying to reach some common ground with you on, is there are certain areas that we're more than comfortable with you recording whatever you want to record in. But just because
there's
people
no
haven't,
common ground there.
there's no common ground there. You want to be able to record people's
publicly
sensitive. I'm asking you a question.
lobbies,
Do you want
foyers.
to? I'm asking you a simple question, and you can say yes or no.
That has nothing to do with it. I'm not going to answer that
Oh,
question.
okay,
What I'm
okay.
saying is lobbies, foyers, and other generally
Right.
accessible places.
The only reason I tell you is because you came over by the desk. You
yeah, and
came
I'm
over
going to
by
go back over the information area just now. That's what's going to happen.
Okay.
I understand we're having a disagreement. If you guys want to call the Portland City PD, you can have them come down. I'll have a disagreement with them. I'll get my trespass on camera. You guys can pay my mortgage. The First Amendment keeps everyone safe, just like when people get abused by the police and everything else. You can't pick and choose when it's on and off. It's not a light switch. Unintentionally, you are. You sound like a very nice guy. We're having a civil disagreement, okay? But I'm telling you, you're incorrect.
Okay.
That's just how it is.
He's with BPS.
My situation. Looking tomorrow, next week. They got my hours 11:35, 1 o'clock, so I probably won't be in next week.
Okay. All good.
I can't get away from it.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 6 to
Okay,
7.
so I have spoken with them, and the same way we would have done had you called ahead and done earlier. I told them any sensitive information that they're going to remove that from station so that people's privacy will not be violated. You're welcome to walk around and do whatever you need to do.
Thank you for doing the right thing.
I would just appreciate it if next time, if you want to do something like this, like I was trying to explain in the beginning, is if you contact us and you let us know, we can put people's private information aside. We put people's private information aside, and you're welcome to record whatever you want. It's not about violating your rights or violating your access to the space or anything about that.
Tell you what, how about this? You're an extremely cordial guy. Give me 1 to 2 minutes more of your time. Yes. Here, why don't you sit down for a second? I'll tell you what this is all about. I'm not going to come back anymore because you've already done what is correct here. You just did the correct thing. And for the city, that's great, but also just for you as a person, everyone in this building is a person. The whole point of this stress test, which is what it is, I'm a journalist, I'm an independent investigative journalist. I go all over the country and do this. You did the right thing, and the reason that's so important is because, as I'm sure you're well aware of, you're clearly a very intelligent person. There's so many encounters where citizens, members of the government as well, have really awful encounters with citizens, with police, with whatever, right? Just tons of federal IRS people, whatever. If the press doesn't push back and maximize their access to information, there's people that get hurt, there's bad things that happen, people's liberties get abused, all that. So what I do is I go around and I do this. You just did the right thing. I thank you for that. I appreciate your professionalism. So I'm just gonna take a little bit more walk around and I'm gonna head out. Never see me again.
You have a good rest of your day. Like I said, the only reason we even think is just because we have private information out. That's
I
the
get
only
that.
thing. That's the
But
only.
you just solved the problem.
Yeah, and that's why I was like,
But the other thing about calling ahead, and this is why if I was going to come back, I wouldn't do it. Not because I'm trying to be disrespectful, but because if something should be held in confidence, if something should be held in private,
yes,
we should be ensuring that it's already done like that
Yes.
anyways, because you could have someone come in, maybe someone's taking a quick bathroom break or something.
Right.
They walk up to the counter, they've got an eidetic memory, and they snapshot everything they see, they walk away, now they got
Right.
stuff, right?
I mean, I understand where you're coming from. The reason we have the policies that we have when people come in here, so a lot of this stuff is like, they're submitting stuff through parks or different bureaus or whatever, and a lot of the information they necessarily initially submit for is not super privacy related, but it can be, right? So you have to create a level of access in the building and only the first 2 floors of this building are even open to the public. After that, everything from 3 up is not open to the public. Those are private spaces.
And that's called a non-public forum.
Yeah,
You
right.
shut it off so I can't even get there.
Yeah, right, exactly, right? And you're correct, you can't even go up there. Now, these parts of the building are a public access. Now, what would normally happen is if you had private information while it's going on, because, like as you can see, when you first came in here, there were people up here and there was things going on, and they had paperwork out because they were taking in submission. Once they take in that submission and then that submission goes up into a private space, it is secure, which is why I was saying to you is like, hey, if I get them to move all that offline, all of this is fine. It's literally just about privacy. It has nothing to do with anything else. As far as, which is why I was trying to explain, like, this City Hall is a little bit different because we don't do anything that is done privacy related in City Hall is already done behind a secure door, right? Here, not necessarily, because we have to allow an entry point for a non-private. We take non-privacy and privacy in the same place. Now, once it's private, privately secured, it
You
needs
see
to
the
be.
problem with that, though? You take non-privacy and privacy in the same place. The city's got to fix that, right?
I
That's
get-
why, like, if you go to the Department of
they
Human
need to make it
Services-
more comfortable for people to have access to these different groups, and through the needs of like the pandemic and all the things that we've had going on, we've had to make certain changes that we would not have historically had. So if we cannot bring them up into a non-private space upstairs in this building because of the certain, this building is not City Hall. Like it's and there needs to be a clear distinction between City Hall, places like City Hall, and here. And so that's all. Like, I may not necessarily, it's not the policy that I would necessarily come up as, private citizen myself, but I understand why they have it in the same place. It's A, to make it more comfortable for people to come in and submit the things that they need to do, and B, standardization to where they don't see, because private citizens may feel like, well, I want to meet with the person. Why does this person get to meet with an individual upstairs and I don't? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like in the same building. So they have their policy for the reasons they have their policy. I'm not a policymaker.
If I could just make a recommendation then, because it gives the press the ability to file a civil suit if necessary, which is to take whatever policy it is. I don't know how you guys, it's probably just a standard administrative code policy system. Just take the notice, put it on the door. It says, according to policy XYZ, you can't film or record in here. Journalist comes in, they're told you can't be here because of said policy. We file suit.
Yeah.
We find that unlawful. It gets stricken. Then we can come in and do our thing.
I mean, no one wants to say you can't film or record it here, because
I get
filming and
that.
recording is not the issue. It's just that when stuff's out, we're not filming and recording, because that's all. Like I said, it's the only reason. The only reason they do it is for privacy. So they'll be like, oh, we got a camera crews coming here all the time, and what they do is like, K2's coming over here or whoever, if they want to do an interview with somebody or for whatever reason they want to be here, right? They come over. And we put all that stuff in the back, and then we let them do whatever they need to do.
And that's not a bad idea, with one exception. As an investigative and journalist, what I often find in places, USPS is the worst for this. When I go to those locations, when they're given advance warning, what do? They look just right for everything. You don't catch them in the middle of doing something bad. And that's the point of an investigative journalist, is to show up on the spot, and the people are like, I'm doing stuff wrong. I actually don't want to see anything bad happen here, and it doesn't look like you guys are doing anything bad. But imagine if you guys, for some reason, had HIPAA-based things. HIPAA applies to the organization using it, not to the general public. So if I walked in and caught you committing a HIPAA violation, I would imagine the citizens would want me to take that news, publish it, and say, my God, look at the city of Portland.
Right.
They're exposing HIPAA-protected documents that they need to protect to viewership by whoever, in this case the media. In that case, that organization needs to be punished for what they did, and that corrects the problem. But if I give you advance warning that something's going to happen, now you clean up all the problems, the press never knows it was there.
I understand.
How do you fix that?
I understand what you're saying.
Using the laws that we have.
And when people want to get documents from here, they submit them, because that's how it works with city government, at least in this town.
But investigative journalists catch people in the wrong, and I need to catch them in the wrong. So I almost caught you in the wrong, but you corrected the problem, and now you're doing things in accordance with federal, state laws.
I mean, I felt like I did initially when I said to you that
we can agree to disagree.
That the reason when I was telling you, hey, don't do this because we have this stuff out, and I was trying to explain to you where you can contact ahead and be like, whatever, and that was it. Because I wasn't trying to kick you out of the building or anything like that, or tell you can't record specifically. I was saying, like, if you want to record specific stuff, that's certainly fine. If you're going to just walk around and record the whole lobby, they have to put private information in a secure place.
See, and what I just got as part of my news story is you guys weren't prepared for an everyday, average day in Portland. You guys weren't.
I mean,
Because now you guys had to rush after sending an email out saying, my God, there's a journalist in the building, hide everything that needs to be hidden.
No, it's not.
But that would
that's
mean,
not the process of it. It's just more of like when we're taking client submission up at the front, and they're giving us documents that may be sensitive in nature. That those documents, if they're currently taking it, right, and you're walking by and you're recording as that document's currently coming in.
Yeah, so that's why you create booths where somebody walks in, it's like an L-shaped booth.
I'm just informing you
I
of what it was
understand.
about, and it has nothing to do with anything else. Everything.
understand.
That's it. That's
And
it.
when the local news station picks up my work,
Okay.
and they release that out to the public, the city of Oregon, or the city of Portland can then decide, should we fix this or not? I mean, we're just going to have to agree to disagree on that one point.
Okay.
I think we agreed on most of it.
Okay.
So I appreciate you doing what you're doing. All right?
Okay.
Thanks. You too. Well, that ended up good. I mean, ultimately, nothing was attempted in forcing me off the property, so that's good. You know, it's always that awkward conversation when they say that there's an expectation of privacy in public. As you heard, it's a non-private private area, and that's just at odds with one another. You can't have both those things coexist at the same time. So ultimately, they did the right thing, guys. So I think that's good. You know, I was able to go and check out the publicly available spaces, and that's all you can ask for. So all in all, ended up well. So that is the Parks and Rec building, and I believe it's got to be something else. I mean, that's a big building. Look at that. So I don't know what else they do in there, but that's it. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you at the next stop. Bye.